There is no one thing that would suddenly make your Amazon product rank higher. Amazon's algorithm is complex and there are many factors influencing your product ranking, such as the price, images, rating, keywords, the right PPC strategies, and so much more. Watch this video to learn how to regularly optimize all aspects of your Amazon product listing to always rank higher than your competitors.
Hi, Jeremiah. I'm really happy to have you here today with me to talk about Amazon product ranking. So before we go into that, could you first introduce yourself and also let us know what DataHawk platform is and how do you help Amazon sellers?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Jeremiah Chambers. I'm the VP of Sales over here at DataHawk. And what DataHawk is, we're a data and analytics platform designed for Amazon sellers and for folks that sell on Walmart too. And what we want to do is pull together all the different elements that you need to be successful as a seller on Amazon, including market analysis, competitive intelligence, the standard product and keyword tracking, and the ability to take all of that data from Amazon and that public data and translate it into a data visualization tool that you use. So see the data that you want in the way that you want it. And that's what we do to fuel sellers to be the best in the market.
Sounds really good. So today's topic is product ranking, and this is one of the hottest topics that our YouTube channel viewers always like to watch and learn about. And it's also something that sellers often look for, let's say, the latest strategies or new hacks, how to improve the product ranking. But actually, I think you agree, it's something that actually sellers have to understand on fundamental level and do it for the long-term performance. So to start with today's interview, I wanted to ask, can you give us an overview? What are currently the most important elements that influence product ranking?
Yeah. So thank you for asking. And this is I feel like it's more competitive than ever on Amazon. So we definitely see that. And even with profitability and some of these new fees that we see people subject to, it makes it more difficult because when you think about that product ranking and what are some of the most important elements, of course, starting off, price, ratings, the type of ratings you have, the star rating, the number of ratings that you have on your listing, having your listing optimized, having the right keywords that you're ranking for, having the right bidding strategy. There's so much that goes into helping your product rank appropriately within your category or subcategory. And really, it starts off with making sure that when you're putting your product out on the digital shelf, that you have the best representation possible that's comparative to the closest competition that you have. And then following through with that by benchmarking, tracking that product appropriately, and continually optimizing your listing and your bidding strategy to get the right gains in the market.
So based on your experience, what would you say, what are the elements that Amazon sellers usually focus on? Let's say they are doing a good job focusing on those elements. And what are some of the areas sellers overlook when it comes to having a good product ranking?
Yeah. So the first thing I'll say is just making sure you have that right product representation. So thinking about your content, think about your images, depending on what product that you're selling. There's something that we're seeing a lot more on Amazon now, which is these really great images with awesome infographics. Being able to convey how the potential customer is going to be using the product before they actually start using it. You think about a jacket, a waterproof jacket, for just an example, is having infographics there telling you like what type of material it's made out of, how does it feel, what does it do? It keeps the water off of you. It's a waterproof jacket. It's great for rainy days. It's great for rainy environments. Maybe it's great for hiking or certain activities. Having that type of really good content is strong first. Then you think about the keywords that you're loading into your listing and how you're having it written. The description of your product is very critical. People are going through these different pages of products and they're viewing them and they're reading about them. And it really has to speak to them first and foremost. First, we have to get in front of them. You have to be visible. But then when you are visible, how are you differentiating yourself from the other products on the market? And then as far as pricing goes, pricing fluctuates every single day. People are winning the buy box and on different days, different sellers are winning it. People are pricing their product differently. Some are more aggressive with that pricing. Some are a little bit more conservative. But how are you comparing your pricing to the market as a whole and understanding algorithmically on Amazon, where do I need to keep my pricing within a certain range in order to ensure that I am ranking on page 1 or I am ranking on page 2 is something that we see a big miss from a lot of sellers in recent times.
Okay, and regarding to the keywords, I think keywords is something that comes to the mind of the sellers first when they think about ranking better, because they always do keyword research. They see what's the real potential of the product, so they oftentimes have some certain keywords they want to rank better for. So in terms of different fields where Amazon sellers can add keywords from title to bullets to backend search terms, what kind of field has the most importance when it comes to ranking?
For me, I really feel like that title and the bullet points are really the powerhouse for you. Having a good, clear, concise title that is strong, that really conveys what your product is something that really sets you apart as far as your product ranking goes. And something that's a big consideration to take in recent times, we're working with a lot of companies that are working in different countries with different languages, is when you have different languages, there are different keywords that you have to really tap into in order to move your product in that specific market. So those titles and the bullet points, I think, are where you find the biggest traction as far as your product rank goes. And then thinking about it a little bit differently as well as looking at that top competing product in your space. If you use I use this example in another video about using a long tail keyword. If you have a long tail keyword that helps you narrow down to what your true top competitor is taking a look at that product, see what keywords that's ranking for. You may be surprised that there's some keywords that you do not have in your listing now that is drawing a fair amount of attention from buyers.
Very good. So you already mentioned that PPC and Amazon advertising also plays a role in ranking products on Amazon. So I think something that Amazon sellers are often wondering is what's like a good ratio between organic sales and PPC sales and how these two are connected in terms of overall ranking of the product. So can you give us an overview and explain that a little bit more into details?
Yeah, and I'll also show a visual as well, but when it comes down to that ratio, it just depends on what your strategy is. I think everybody, if they would just rank number 1 on page 1 organically, which would be awesome. And if you are ranking page 1 in the first place for a specific keyword, you're going to be taking more of a defensive strategy with your PPC. So you're going to be bidding at specific times just to make sure you maintain that spot. However, for that seller who is trying to work their way up the ranks, that may be leaning a little bit more heavily on PPC, and seeing the effectiveness of that is going to be what helps drive your numbers up and get you up to that higher rank. So just to kind of show something real quick and give you an idea of what this looks like at play, this is an example of a product that we have and some of the keywords that's ranking for. This is a flavored water product. And you look at this one, this is a very strong ranking product. Anytime you see these stripes on the screen, that just means that there's a product variation that might be ranking on there. Anytime you see a star, that means that it was sponsored. That means that they actually have a sponsored listing. So they invested in the bidding on that specific keyword in order to move their way up the ranks. So this is more of that defensive strategy at play, if you look at it, for the most part, for most of these keywords. And again, when you look at these rankings, think about this if you're not in a place of defensive strategy. Maybe you're trying to work your way up. Is you look at that bid, when did I sponsor my product? When did I invest in bidding on that keyword? And what was the impact of that investment? How did that change my ranking over time? Because when you think about the organic rank versus sponsored rank is great, but it can be fleeting. That organic rank is really what we want to influence more of. So we want to make sure that we're being strategic with our bids. We're bidding at the right time. We're bidding on the right keywords. And that could be really difficult, especially if you're first starting out to determine whether that is. So it's good to benchmark that and track that. We have this really cool report called a sponsored products bidding recommendation report that actually will break down all the keywords that you're bidding on, tell you what your click-through rate is on it, tell you what your cost per click is, and even give you the return on ad spend as well. And they'll tell you, hey, there's certain keywords, stop bidding on them. They're not yielding you anything. Other ones, you're doing quite well. Maybe it's time to increase your investment. And they'll tell you what you should expect as a return on that investment if you do it. But balancing the two is very important. Having that organic rank being your number one focus is definitely the most important thing. Because we have seen in the market that there is this very intense battle that happens outside of the top 10 ranking products in any given category. But once you make it into the top 10, you tend to stay there. And you're able to really just focus on just having a defensive strategy, bidding occasionally on certain keywords, and investing less in advertising and focusing more on just your product listings.
Okay, and what are your best tips to share with the sellers if they would like to improve their organic product ranking in a specific keyword or in set of specific keywords?
Yeah, my best recommendation is, first off, speak to an expert if you can. If you do have the ability and the ability to work with an agency or some really good consultants on Amazon, is leverage them. There's some awesome resources out there that you have that you can leverage to help give you that closer edge, because we're working with multiple clients in multiple categories, and they're able to really guide you well. So first off, ask for help. That's my number one. Secondly, make sure you have the right tools in place. Obviously, I'm biased, and I think DataHawk's the best tool you could possibly use for all this stuff. But have those tools in place. Make sure your team is using those effectively. Third, automate as much as you can. Automate reports to tell you what's going well, what's not going well, review those in a very frequent cadence, whether that's every 2 weeks, every month, every quarter, whichever is appropriate for your business. That's the way you need to do it. And then when it comes down to the changes that you need to make or what's changing in the market, automate that as well. Set up alerts. Identify your top 3 or 4 competitors. Set up alerts to when they change their content, to maybe when they ramp up their bidding, to when they win the buy box, and then reverse engineer whatever they've done and think about how you can incorporate that into your strategy as well. That's been very effective for a lot of people. You don't always have to be a trailblazer. Sometimes someone's already blazed the trail for you. You just need to follow it. So take that strategy that you've seen it play, that you've seen move them up to page 1 to see them get that top spot. Think about what you can incorporate into your strategy, and you will see some results as far as your organic and sponsored rank.
Okay, thank you for these insights. So you also mentioned it's important and perhaps most important to track the changes that come with making some changes in the strategy itself. So do you have any tips how sellers could better track the changes, and what are the exact data points they should track and how often they should do it? Of course, you showed the dashboard, but perhaps you have also some general tips that sellers can use if they don't use any software or platform yet.
Yeah, so one thing, if you can identify in the bestseller rank, just think about the top 100 for a specific category, is if you can identify the ones that are newer, that have broken into that top 100, you can kind of look back through history, if possible, if you have the right tools, to be able to tell what did they do differently in order to change their ranking. Again, if you have the top 7 or 8 products that maybe more closely aligned to yours, so I would recommend first start off with a long tail keyword. Long tail keywords will be more specific, what most closely relates to your product. Do that. That will help you narrow down to what are the products that are most closely like yours, see which ones are ranking better than yours, and then think about that listing. Look at that listing with a keen eye. What is different? What keywords are you seeing them rank for that's different than yours? What does their title look like compared to yours? What do their images look like compared to yours? And then make that thoughtful change to your listing to optimize it and then track and benchmark that along the way. See what difference it makes. If you're doing all these changes, you're trying to emulate a strategy from a top competitor of yours, you have to make sure that it's yielding the result that you're looking for, that you're seeing your ranking improve. And if not, think about what else you can do. Think about, should I tag in a little bit more of the advertising to help give myself a boost? Or did I not quite get my content right? Do I still need to hone in on those right bullet points or right title to get things moving appropriately? Those are things to consider and make sure you work with. But again, if you've got help and you can ask for help, whether it's managed services through a different provider or possibly a good agency or some of these awesome people in the Amazon seller community, feel free to gobble up those resources. I'm sure Klik has plenty on their YouTube channel other than this video that's going to be helpful to you. And think that, this is going to all change probably in 5 or 6 months anyway. There's going to be new challenges that we face, new products on the market, and this is going to be something that you're always going to have to keep a focus on.
Yeah, that's a good thing because the marketplace itself changes quite rapidly. There are always new tools, new things to look out for. So it's good to make everything look great in the fundamental level to get the products optimized and also ranked. So of course, different softwares help Amazon sellers a lot to be efficient and also save time and make just better updates to their product listings. So could you once more highlight what kind of tools DataHawk's platform has for Amazon sellers, and also what's the best way to learn more about what you do?
Yeah, so again, tracking the product, checking the price, buy box, tracking competitors, tracking our own products, or tracking your own products. Those are all things that you can do within our platform. Same thing with keywords as well. So we all know about keyword tracking. You can see when your competitor is actually investing in sponsoring their product listing for a specific keyword. When they've been acknowledged as like the Amazon bestseller or the editorial's pick or editor's pick, you'll see when that pops up on there. So those are all great things that we do. We also do market analysis, so you can break down a specific category and see, again, what the best pricing strategy is, what the average price is by page, number of ratings, star ratings, all of those things there. And then you can aggregate all the data from your Seller Central account, your advertising account, and that market data all together to help give you some automated recommendations, automated insights, so that you can make some very smart decisions and have a good idea of what type of ROI that's going to bring you. So those are all things that we do with our tool. To learn more about it, you can go to datahawk.co, check out our website. You can see a lot of resources there, blog posts, videos, webinars, all kinds of cool stuff. Those are available to you. If you have more specific question, or if you actually want to come check it out, feel free to reach out to me, Jeremiah@datahawk.co, and you can reach out to me directly, and I'd be happy to respond to you and align you with whatever solution that we have that might be the best fit.
And if you are watching this video and you have questions that you want to publicly ask, then of course you can leave a comment to the video and we will ask Jeremiah to come back and answer the questions as well. So thanks again for joining me and sharing your knowledge. We hope to see you soon again.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
If you found this video useful, hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And if you want to try DataHawk tool for yourself, find special offer in the video description. And now I recommend you to watch other video where Jeremy explains how to analyze Amazon competitors' data and use it for your advantage when launching a new product on Amazon.